If you decide to move against the students, you'll have to go through us first.
University of Toronto students who have been in a battle with their university over a pro-Palestinian encampment on campus are now being supported by a major labor organization as well as their own faculty at U of T. So I'm going to get to more information and various videos from this story. First, I want to touch on a couple of stories that are somewhat related, at least in terms of Palestine, to this, that I simply could not fit in their own videos, as it wouldn't make a whole lot of sense to do singular videos on each of these things. But I have to just share how ridiculous some of this stuff is. So this is Nikki Haley, who I'm sure you're aware ran briefly for president, or in the Republican primary for president, in a terrible attempt to try and defeat Trump. But as Rolling Stone writes here, days after dozens of Palestinians were killed by Israeli airstrikes against displacement camps in southern Gaza, former South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley wrote, "Finish them," on Israeli artillery shells. Here is from the Team Nikki Haley account. "Finish them. America love Israel always." You know, I don't believe in heaven and hell. But sometimes I wish I did. Because people like this would be going straight to hell. Imagine signing a bomb that is going to go and kill innocent civilians. What kind of person does this? Now, I want to share this as well. This is CBS News' Ed O'Keefe asking the White House press briefing about Israel's deadly bombing in Rafah. And you could check out John Kirby's response as well. I'm just more impressed by this question here from Ed O'Keefe.
How many more charred corpses does he have to see before the president considers a change in policy?
We don't want to see a single more innocent life taken. And I kind of take a little offense at the question. No civilian casualties is the right number of civilian casualties. And this is not something that we've turned a blind eye to, nor has it been something we've ignored or neglected to raise with our Israeli counterparts, including, Ed, this weekend as a result of this particular strike. Now, they're investigating it, so let's let them investigate it and see what they come up with.
But the president doesn't have like a personal limit to this?
The president has been very clear and very direct about what our expectations are for Israeli operations in Rafah specifically, but in Gaza writ large. We don't.
All right, I can't take any more bullshit from John Kirby here, but you can tell the press have even hit their limit. And this is CBS News. This is incredibly mainstream news. You know, your grandfather's dad watches this. There is no inch of a revolutionary within CBS News. But they understand clearly what is going on, and that Joe Biden himself is tripping over his words. He claimed that Rafah was a red line, and now the Israeli government is striking Rafah, and now they're saying, oh, well, ground invasion. Wait, no ground invasion, yet there's even been videos of tanks rolling into Rafah. So there is just, they're going to continue moving the line for infinity, because that's what they've been doing. They've been bending over backwards in every way possible to support this genocidal Israeli government. In the process, supplying many of the weapons being used. Now, I want to move on to the U of T story. So this headline here from CBC News: U of T seeks court injunction to clear encampment as protesters stay put. And quote here, despite all these threats being made, we remain, organizer says of encampment. Now, what's been incredibly encouraging about this are two groups in particular that have joined these students. First, I want to show you this clip here from one of the encampment organizers, Erin Mackey. She is a student, and a clip from her discussion with the press.
I mean, there's absolutely a point in keeping this going. It's because there's an active genocide ongoing, and the University of Toronto is complicit in that.
Yes.
That is why we're here. That is why we'll continue to be here, despite being threatened with suspension, despite the faculty being threatened with termination. So, you know, in terms of why we would continue these negotiations, even though we don't see them going particularly well, is because we must demand better of this institution.
Yes.
And so, you know, we are, the meeting is scheduled for tomorrow. We have been very clear about what we're asking for from the beginning. We're asking for disclosure, we're asking for divestment. And again, you know, it is not unreasonable for them to rethink their processes and procedures.
So just like the other encampments, these students are incredibly clear about what they're asking for. It is right on the site, on their site: divestment, disclosure, and suspend ties with particular universities that are tied to the Israeli government. It's clear. And considering many universities, including U of T, have cut ties with particular fossil fuel companies, this would be right in line with something like that. And again, right in line with movements against South African apartheid. So, or, you know, if you want to go back to the Vietnam War, these sorts of protests have been going on for decades. So for whether it's media, whether it's just, you know, people watching this unfold, to think that this is somehow unnecessary or out of line, or these students don't know what they're talking about. No, these students are incredibly educated on what is happening, and they know the exact pressure points to use to try and do what they can to change what is happening in Gaza. And that is why we now see this is massive. The Ontario Federation of Labor, that represents over 1 million workers in Ontario, has issued a statement supporting the People's Circle, supporting these students at this encampment. The U of T admin has been told that if they take action against us, they take action against workers. Are you ready to be on the wrong side of 54 unions? So this really is an incredible move by the Ontario Federation of Labor. It is fantastic to see a major labor organization like this come out in support of these students. And here is a statement from Laura Walton of the Ontario Federation of Labor in support.
So I'm Laura Walton. I'm the president of the Ontario Federation of Labor, and we're just wrapping up our amazing rally today at the U of T. Having labor come together in solidarity, because this is a worker issue. It is a worker issue whenever we see the rights of anyone being infringed upon, and I think that it's really important that we recognize that labor has a role in ensuring that these encampments, the voices that are in those encampments, those voices that are fighting for the people of Palestine, that are being heard. Anytime that we see any institution trying to step in and use threats or intimidation to take away voices, labor needs to be there. That's how we build a labor movement. That's how we build a better Ontario, and it's how we build a better world.
So great to see this kind of support come out for these students, and also great to see the faculty. Check this out.
As instructors bound by the duty to foster our students' well-being, we are being told to step aside as our students are endangered. We echo the words of the Ontario Federation of Labor from their statement of support, adding our own twist. We say to our administration, if you decide to move against the students, you'll have to go through us first. We also implore our administration to remember that we are U of T. The administration is not the university. You are the custodians of our precious mission, and you are failing the U of T community. There is still time, however, to do the right thing. Meet the students' demands and stand on the right side of history.
Yes.
Incredible. It's just heartwarming to see this kind of support come out, because this is how progress gets made. One voice has very little power, but when groups of people come together and support each other in a cause, that has power.